I'm Lina, and I want to tell you a little bit about what it's like to make a Star Wars game in this renaissance of Star Wars that started with The Force Awakens this year. I guess we missed the end of the crawl here, so the end point was this doesn't need any music. The end point was that shortly after it was announced that George Lucas had sold Star Wars to Disney for $4 billion, Disney and EA, or Electronic Arts, made a deal for Electronic Arts to make video games in the Star Wars universe for the next 10 years. And the first game that was announced as a part of this contract was Star Wars Battlefront, which is a reboot of a very popular Star Wars series that came out in 2004 and 2005, called Star Wars Battlefront. So my short presentation today is a bit of a story about how a game developer in DICE came to work on one of the biggest franchises in the world. And I want to start by talking about this company. So these are the offices at DICE. They're quite nice. We actually moved out of these offices last week, but that's my desk. And at DICE, we have a team of amazing artists. This, by the way, is a fake meeting that's made particularly just to take videos like these that are called B-roll for tapes. So you see, people are smiling and happy. Well, they usually are. DICE is a pretty great place. But DICE is a company that was founded in '92. It started making racing games and pinball games, but then started to make a series of games that it's very famous for, which are the Battlefield games. Can I get a show of hands for the people that have actually played Battlefield? Yeah, quite a lot. You and 65 million other people have played Battlefield. So Battlefield is the most popular, it's actually the biggest cultural export of Sweden as measured by financials. So Battlefield has made more money than ABBA, if you will, which shows you the scale of it. But Battlefield is a first-person shooter. It's a war game, which you play online with your friends against other people. And it's a game that needs a lot of skill and strategy and team play. And through the different iterations, these 9 versions of Battlefield that DICE has released, DICE has brought a lot of innovation to the genre, which is also the reason why it made sense for EA to choose DICE as the studio to make Battlefront. Because the earlier Battlefront games were also heavily influenced by Battlefield, but they were made by another studio in the US. But the Battlefield games have gotten quite a lot of awards, E3 awards, BAFTA awards. DICE is known for amazing visuals, spectacular audio, and very deep gameplay, and have been rewarded for that. And they also, not only have they made Battlefield, but they also have made a game called Mirror's Edge. They made a Mirror's Edge game in 2008, and this game, Mirror's Edge Catalyst, will be released in May of next year. And that's a first-person parkour game where you play as this runner, Faith. And it's known for iconic art style, but also for being one of the few games with a very iconic female hero. So I'm quite looking forward to seeing how players will like playing as Faith next May. But I'm not here to talk about Mirror's Edge. I'm here to talk about Battlefront. And Battlefront is a shooter, a multiplayer shooter, that's set in the Star Wars that we know and love from the original trilogy of movies. It's a shooter game, which you can play in first person, but you can also play it in third person. And it's about fulfilling your Star Wars battle fantasies. So if you want to fight and pretend that you're taking part in the Battle of Hoth, you can do that. You can take down an AT-AT. For those of you that don't speak Star Wars, that's the big metal elephant that you see here. That's an AT-AT. And you can take it down with a tow cable using a snowspeeder, which is the funny flying vehicle here. So you can do that. Or you could fight as a rebel against stormtroopers on Tatooine, which is the home planet of Luke Skywalker. Or you can fight as Luke Skywalker, wielding a lightsaber or using the Force. Or you could pretend that you're Han Solo sitting in the cockpit of the Millennium Falcon taking down TIE fighters. And one of my biggest problems, maybe not the biggest problem, but one of my problems last year was the fact that the Millennium Falcon is 35 meters long, and it makes it very hard to fit it gameplay-wise into the game that we're making that's predominantly about infantry combat. But we solved that. It's an interesting problem to have. With that said, I want to show you a video that we made, a launch trailer that we made for the game to give you an idea of what it looks like. Please take down the lights.
It is unavoidable. We will witness the destruction of the Alliance and the end of this insignificant rebellion.
Soldiers of the Rebel Alliance, this is our most desperate hour. You are our only hope. Focus your attack on the walker.
Run, rebel scum!
For the rebellion!
Don't get in my way.
Shield up!
That won't happen again. Prevent the walkers from reaching the space.
Your victory will be short-lived.
Now it's my turn. All wings, blast them into submission. May the Force be with us.
Your pathetic rebellion ends here.
So how do you make a game like this? I'm not going to go into detail because that would take quite a long time, but I'd like to explain a bit of what I do. So I work at DICE as the senior producer, which means that I run the project, I lead the development team of engineers, artists, game designers, QA people, graphic designers, animators, etc. in making the game. But I also work with the internal stakeholders from EA, which are the marketing department, the central unit at EA that runs the Star Wars collaboration, because to make games to fill a 10-year contract takes more than one studio. And all of these other different stakeholders. And to give you an idea of the magnitude, our developers team is more than 100 people at the peak. Then you add to it all the localization people that translate the game into different languages, the marketing people, the operations people, the QA people. And shortly before launch, you have multiples of hundreds of people working on the game. And if that wasn't complex enough, for this game, as a licensed product, we're working with Lucasfilm. And I'm sure that most of you know that Lucasfilm are the creators and the guardians of Star Wars. Lucasfilm is the company that George Lucas founded and sold to Disney in 2012. And they have a group that's called the Production Group. And they are the people who work with all the game makers. So they work with us on making Star Wars Battlefront. They also worked with the team that made Disney Infinity. They work with the mobile teams. And they make sure that whatever we are making is in alignment with the pillars of Star Wars and with the direction that they are taking Star Wars into the future. And they've been great partners, but obviously it's more complicated to make a licensed game than to make a game that's in an IP that you own and control. And so one of the things that we had to do, or I had to do as a part of my job, was when we started this project back in 2013, was to build a relationship with Lucasfilm. And as a part of that, we were fortunate enough to be invited to a magical place which is called Skywalker Ranch. Has anyone heard of Skywalker Ranch? Can I see hands? So Skywalker Ranch is an hour outside of San Francisco. It's a ranch. It's beautiful farmland with a few buildings that George Lucas built in the early 80s from the money that he made of the first Star Wars movie. And he built it as a haven for collaborators, and it's an amazing house that's it's very cozy, it's very secluded, it's a lot of peace and quiet, and it's filled with wondrous items such as he has Charlie Chaplin's hat and Indiana Jones's whip and a letter that Charles Darwin wrote to a colleague in his library, and it's pretty magical. But it also has an even more magical place, which are the archives of the Skywalker Ranch, and that's where this picture is taken. And you can see here a member of my team standing there photographing Darth Vader. And on the next picture, you can see this is Darth Vader from our game, and we made it by using the original costume. So this is the actual Darth Vader, if you will. We use a technology called photogrammetry, and if you would play the video that I have that accompanies this. So these are the assets that we made. These are actual game models that we built, and they are built, if you look at the images that we see. So here you can see Darth Vader's helmet and Boba Fett's helmet, and this is one of our character artists, and these are our actual models used in the movies. And we take them, and we take cameras, and we take pictures of them from slightly different angles. So let's imagine that you take 100 pictures of one item from slightly different angles, and then you stitch those images together using software to actually create the actual 3D model. It's not a magical process by any means, but you can see the results that we get. And of course, it's an amazing privilege to be able to go to a place like the archives and see these wonderful artifacts that are a part of movie history, and actually get to work with them and bring them into the game. But they wouldn't be, the assets are only half the story. We also needed to have as realistic and good-looking environments. So we went to all these places, and this is in Iceland because we created a planet called Sullust based on Iceland, which is why a part of the game feels like home. And here you can see the world as we've created it. This is from the game. These are not real-world images, but they're based from the images that our artists captured by going to the locations where the original movies were shot, to not only get the visuals right, but to also get the feel of the places right. And here you can see them, and they had a lot of fun going around the world. But not only do we have amazing artists, we also have amazing technology in our Frostbite graphics engine. And we also use a new rendering technology called physically based rendering, which means that the assets that you create, you can take them into different lighting environments, and they will light correctly. You don't have to relight everything or change the asset based on the lighting that you take it to. And so here they are in Iceland to capture Sullust. This is actually how you make video games today. You send people with cameras to Iceland to capture moss and sand. But not only did we bring the planets of Endor, Tatooine, Sullust, and Hoth into the game, we were also fortunate enough to be able to work with a team that was creating The Force Awakens to collaborate on what we call the Battle of Jakku. Who has seen The Force Awakens here? A lot of you. Not everyone, but a lot of you. I'm not going to spoil anything, though. The Battle of Jakku, if you remember, Jakku is the planet that you see, it's Rey's home planet. And you obviously, if you've seen the movie, you've seen all these crashed, the crashed Star Destroyer and all of the kind of the rubbish and the wreckage on the planet. And you think to yourself, okay, so what happened? And what happened was the Battle of Jakku, which took place in the timeline of the original trilogy. So our game, as you recall, is taking place in the classic Star Wars, as I talked about. But The Force Awakens happened 30 years later. So this is basically Jakku, 30 years before The Force Awakens. And in our game, you can play on the ground on Jakku while the battle rages on the sky and all around you. And we actually had to send people. I didn't have to go, but we had to make some people actually go to the desert and capture sand and capture images from the set, and also go on the set in Pinewood. And one of my artists got to sit in the cockpit of the Millennium Falcon on set, and I'm absolutely not jealous at all, I can tell you that. But that was an amazing opportunity, and to get to feel that, to get to be a part of this, that cultural moment of being a part of this renaissance of Star Wars and get to collaborate with Lucasfilm was, it was amazing, but it's not by any means very simple. Having said that, I'm going to show you the launch ad for our game.
If you strike me down, I shall become more powerful than you can possibly imagine.
So the game was launched a little more than 2 months ago, November 17th. And how did we do? Well, we won through our campaign, taking the game to different shows and conferences, over 250 show honors and awards. We were the biggest digital launch in the history of EA. We were the most downloaded game on PS4 around the world in December. We are the fastest selling Star Wars game of all time, and we've sold in more than 13 million units of the game before the end of 2015. Thank you very much.